Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bowl with Value. I'm Valerie Bercier, and this week I'm going to show you how to make changes to your release to create either quicker response on the lane or slower response to achieve the best entry angle into the pocket to strike. So stick around and see what we have.
This brings up by 12. Has it. Really good look.
Okay, we are back at Sherman Bowling Center. Got the end pair, which is quite nice. There is quite a few people bowling, so I apologize for the loudness in here this week, but here we are. So I have the Hammer Anger, and the Hammer Pure Envy. Just like last week where I had these two balls and I compared different parts of the lane or like the different ball motions. So I'm going to show, this is a slower, stronger, smoother ball reaction. So to get it to be quicker response is a little bit more difficult. And then the Anger is really clean and quick response kind of naturally. So to slow it down could be a little bit more difficult, but I'm going to show you how to do it and see what the differences are on the lane. So I'm just going to line up and see what my target is going to be like if I were to just throw it normally with my normal release. So I'm going to stand on 18 and look at 12. And throw it normally and see what it does. Okay. So you see that it slides through the oil a little bit, and then it starts to it starts to hook. The hook window is pretty long, and then it drives the pocket. So so then let me throw the Anger in the same spot, and I'll show you it's gonna go further down the lane and be a little bit more of a boomerang shape. And again, kind of naturally. Characteristic of the bowling ball. Okay, so it got out further and it hooked later. 6-pin winner out of 10. 7-10. Was that luck? Was that bad luck? It was not. That's what happens when you're throwing a really clean response bowling ball, kind of asking it to do too much. So how do I get the Anger to almost kind of act like the Pure Envy? How do you do that? I'm going to try to roll it more, maybe even slow down my speed and play straight. I'm going to try to play straighter and see if I can get it to be a little bit less boomerangy. So I'll move 2 right with my feet. So I'm at 16 and I'm going to look at 10, 11, and I'm going to try to roll it more. And play straighter, and it's smoother. It's still quicker response, but I rolled it more and I didn't ask it to do too much. Whereas it's so funny because I literally I played the same line, but the Anger got out further because it shot through the oil, whereas the Pure Envy was able to grip the lane a little bit sooner, and it's stronger, so it was able to turn the corner and strike in that same range. So, I mean, what else can we do? We can get it to hook more. So that was one option. Move a little right, go up the back of it. That's always, in my opinion, the better option because, oh yeah, actually, I had a thought for a second. It's the better option because you're using more of the bowling ball. That's the goal. You want to use as much of the bowling ball, the circumference of the bowling ball as possible. Otherwise, when you twirl it, when you spin it, you're only using, a piece of it. And it's an unstable ball reaction if there's a lot of oil on the lane. If there's dry in the front, you oftentimes need to twirl it less so that the ball can retain more energy. So I was thinking, excuse me, I was thinking with this, it was great ball reaction, right? But what happens if I move a little further left? So when I move five left, so I'm going to be at 23, and I'll go to 15 with my eyes. And if I get it right, oh, wow. I was not expecting that. I was expecting it to shoot through a little bit, but man, this ball's strong. That is interesting. That definitely it grabbed it late, so it was a very late light strike. So what I would do, slow down a little bit, but I want to see what this does over there. Because I went right with it straight, straighter. Let me see if I can go to 23 and 15 with the anger. Oh, wow. So it went much further. I don't know how many feet. I wish I could tell you accurately how many feet further down the lane. Quicker response, again, late. It's so funny because like the hammer was like, it's just a slower response. So it was a little bit like, I think of like a train, like chugga, 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 chugga. It's like trying to get started. Whereas the angers are retaining so much energy that it gets to the friction and jerks across, and jerks off the spot. So I could, why don't I try to, I'm going to spin it more and you can see what happens when I spin it more. So what I'm going to try to do, so it's how I spin it. People say like you have to work the inside of the ball. And like, yeah, if you want to spin it, work the inside. So in order for me to spin it, I'm actually going to turn my fingers to the inside of the ball, keep it there so that when I release, I twirl it. I don't know, that's so funny. I was about to say I'm a professional spinner, but no, seriously, I spun it. Like that's all I ever did. Okay, so I feel like I can tell you how to do it. All right, just gonna spin it a little bit more, see what happens. And it's gonna jerk because it's spinning, right? Gets the friction, and because it's so quick response naturally, that is gonna jerk. So it was even quicker response. So when you spin it, quicker response off the friction. Or if I throw it harder and spin it, it's not gonna hook at all. It's just like, it'll just completely miss the break point. It'll shoot right through. You know what? I'm gonna do that. It's so funny. Sometimes I say stuff and I'm like, well, why don't I just show you? Let me show you. I'm gonna throw it harder over here. So I'm gonna try to just throw it just a little bit harder while spinning it. Oh, I was gonna say it shoots right through. I mean, it went longer and it wasn't slow, so it didn't boomerang as much. Like when you throw it harder, it slows the response down. That's kind of what I needed to do when I spun it a lot. Like there's the track. My track is way over here. That's the first line of flare. Way over here. So there's my thumb. When you're rolling it more, your track is right along your thumb and your finger line. So when I used to spin it a lot, in order for my ball to not overhook all the time, I would have to throw it harder because then that slows the response time down. Throw it harder to slow the response time down. How confusing is that? Okay, well, I hit the pocket on that. Definitely didn't strike though. So not a good ball reaction, I can tell you that. So why don't I try the same shot with this one? I'll spin this one over here too. Because you have to be further left in order for it to hit the pocket because you have to cover so many boards when you spin it. Let's try to throw it normally. And spinning it. Oh gosh. Gross. I have like PTSD from spinning it so much. And my husband's probably watching this going, you used to do this all the time. A 2-8-10 was like a leave that I would leave all the time because again, your ball is like trying to read the lane because you're spinning it, it's not reading the lane, so it's not having enough time on the lane. And then the response is so quick that it's like trying to do too much too late. So yeah, there's the line of flare over here. And then all of a sudden, like too much in such a short period of time, you're trying to ask it to do too much, and then it just like rolls forward to a 10. Gross. Okay, so how do you fix that? Valerie, show me how you fix that. Well, you want to move right and close your angles a little bit and roll it more. So what I'm going to do, so I showed you how to spin it. You're gonna, instead of under, or like, you know, all the way 7 o'clock, for example, 8 o'clock, you're gonna put it to like even 4 or 5 o'clock. Whatever sometimes you have to over exaggerate. Or 6 o'clock, right in the middle. I hope that's in the middle. It feels like it's in the middle to me, but you know, somewhere in that range. And then just let it roll off your hand. Elbow in. So I'm gonna move significantly further right and keep my elbow in. So I'll do that. I'm gonna go back to, I'll go to 15, kind of where I was with the anger when I was rolling it. And you can see that it's like, woo! Ah! The anger struck there and it had enough energy retained to carry. Whereas this one, it was like that train, like chugga, chugga, chugga. It was like trying to get started, trying to hook, but it was just depleting so much energy because I was rolling it and it's such a strong cover. So what do you do then? Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. Thumb, and my first line of track is like right there. Whoop. So significantly more roll, using more of the ball, which is better. You just have to find a little bit more oil. So how about I do that? I'm gonna go 2 and 2, left. So I'm gonna look at 12. Roll it, see more oil. Oh, it retained so much energy. Gotta use a little bit more oil now. It's such a strong ball. And the lanes are breaking down just a little bit. I've thrown quite a few shots with both balls all over the lane. So let's see. Yeah, wow, there's like a lot of flare too. When you throw it well and you're using the ball for what it was designed, your ball reaction looks good. So that was 2 and it looked like a, what was that, a 6-pin? I don't even remember. 3-pin, 6-pin. So I'm gonna go to 20. So right now I'm 5 with my feet again. I'm gonna roll it, keep rolling it, keeping the angles tighter. Should be good. Ah! Oh my gosh, this ball is so strong. It's like it's asking me to open up my angles. That is so funny. So here's the funny part. I'm like, okay, so what's next, right? Well, what's next is that I can still roll it and go left to right with it and still blend the pattern, because that's what I was doing originally. So let's do that. What I'm gonna do is open up my angles a little bit by, instead of keeping my right foot right next to my left foot, I'm gonna bring it back toward my heel. It's gonna open up my angles a little bit more. So that's what I'll do. Actually, I'm gonna stay in the exact same spot and just try to open my angles a little bit, but still roll it. Okay. Wow. That drove the 8-pin. So retained enough energy, smooth shape. And the 3 went into the 6, that went into the 10, and it was a perfect strike. Okay, awesome. Well, this went a little different than I thought it would, but I hope it was helpful to see the different types of releases and what the ball reaction does as a result. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and leave us a comment. Let us know if there is anything within the brands of Brunswick you'd like to see compared, reviewed, or anything on the channel you'd like to see discussed. Let us know in the comments, because we read them and we do this every week. So with that, we'll see you next week. welcome back to Bowl with Value. I'm Valerie Chris here. This week, like I mentioned, I'm going to talk about how to change your release to create different ball reactions.